One of the things that's interesting as I weave everything that you've been saying here together is that the voice of the customer, when they're inviting you into the meetings and helping you with asking you for your help and messaging and things like that, what they're asking for a lot is an interpretation of how to message to the customer, how to motivate the customer. And that's where the CEOs, CROs, and CMOs that I talk to that really have a focus like you on customer obsession, that's the one voice that matters. In B2B, we don't have anybody that's in charge of the voice of the customer,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
B2C companies have chief customer officers, chief experience officers. Like the Gartners, the Forresters of the world have been telling us as CMOs for years, you got to play the role of the chief customer officer.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I heard between the lines that you started representing the voice of the customer, the chief customer officer, and helping them put it into everything they do. Is that a good interpretation of what you said?
It is. My personal philosophy in life is be the change you want to see in the world. So you see a gap, you know it's important, you understand its strategic importance. And I believe in leaning into that. That's what I've really done. I like to call myself a chief growth officer more than a chief marketing officer because that customer obsession, that market lens, that driving towards helping the business grow holistically is marketing for sure, but I think marketing's starting to outgrow the title of marketing in a lot of companies.
Oh, interesting. So everything makes perfect sense. You talked about how at the very beginning you're a very revenue focused marketer, have been trained that way. When I say things like the revenue logic of
Yeah.
customer obsession, the reason why we're even in a series like that is because it's really hard to prove. How do you prove to the rest of the executives on the C-suite? How do you prove to the board? How do you prove that there is revenue logic and being so focused, obsessed about the customer? And there's lots of outside evidence. Forrester did a big customer obsession study, found that only 5% of B2B companies are actually customer obsessed.
Yeah.
But when you are, revenue grows faster, profit grows faster, you retain clients. It's significant levels, like 50% levels. So there's very much a direct logic of that, but we don't get credit for it. How do you connect the revenue logic of what you do?
It's definitely tough. And if you're expecting it to look like cost per acquisition numbers and tying directly to some sort of an attribution measurement, you're probably never going to get there. I think it comes back to that alignment on objectives, measuring towards those objectives, and showing how your metrics align to those objectives. If you're trying to take credit in the truest sense of the word and having attribution directly attributed to your channels, it's going to be a difficult story to tell. But in concert, everything together, pointing towards that direction and those outcomes that you've all aligned to, showing how what you're doing is actually making traction in those areas. What helps in a sales led organization like I am in, having the people in the room hear it validated in the conversations that they're having with their customers directly. One is the numbers can definitely show it correlationally for sure. And then the other is they get it validated for them in conversations. And those two things together are really powerful because it's the direct customer validation as well as the numbers.
I've never had anybody say that before. It makes so much sense that if the rest of the executives and their conversations they're having with prospects and customers, if they hear it coming back to them, played back to them, how they frame the challenges are well accepted, then there's just an overall greater sense and hey, we're really getting it here, right? You know,
Exactly.
we're on the right track.
Exactly.
Uh, really smart.
Using customer validation to validate our customer obsession. Think about it.
I love it. I love that.